Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, the Yankees sweep the Royals, which they have done now for 11 consecutive games, even go back to some previous years there, and they have themselves a pretty decent homestand going 5-2 with, yes, a little turbulence with the Angels coming to town and Mike Trout turning back the clock there and having himself quite a series for the Yankees. But nevertheless, compared to last weekend, you'll definitely take where you are right now if you are a Yankee fan. The Yankees sitting right now solely in first place in the AL East, even though by a micro-faction, and you just go back to last week when everyone was going panicky after a lot of players weren't doing well and they just got swept by the Tampa. In Tampa, well, just how a good homestand changes everything. So now set on a road trip, which at first you thought might have been tough when you look at the year, but now both Red Sox and Astros are struggling out of the gate as well. So maybe the Yankees can feast a little bit more here and pick up some wins in April. So we'll get into the whole thing. We'll look back mainly at the World Series. Obviously, you not gloat over a team. Obviously, the Yankees are much better than, but a lot of good things like to see in this game. And the Yankees during this homestand, as I kind of predicted, would hit the long ball, and they hit the long ball indeed to go back to their Bronx bombing ways. So we'll look at that, and of course we'll look ahead at some of the series ahead, and the Yankees doing some tinkering, making a minor move for Wilmy Sanchez. This guy's going to go straight to the minors there, but you can see the Yankees are kind of jiggling things around now that Jake Bird was sent down to AAA to find someone who want to hold down the sort of quote-unquote Jake Bird role. Maybe it's Angel Chivilli, maybe it might be someone like Sanchez or someone else in the minors coming at a later time there, but nevertheless the Yankees making a move, adding an arm to the farm as well. So we'll get into the whole thing, but before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcast. There's a button around that says follow, subscribe, something like that. Hit that, and of course, go to YouTube as well. There's the YouTube version of the show, the video version, I would say. Subscribe to that channel as well. So I figured that, the Yankees would kind of get back in their winning ways with this homestand. If you look at both the Angels, who were 500 at the time, and the Royals, that were a couple games under 500 coming to town there, you figure the Yankees would feast on both of these teams. And the Angels have been completely lost for a number of years now. And yes, even though Mike Trout was back, you know how he is. He gets a hurt fingernail, a hurt wrist, and he's gone for the year. So you don't really expect them to have much firepower. But got to say, Mike Trout came in and put a show on, hit 5 home runs in the series there. So you can see that really coming. And the Yankees, in the 2 games they won, they split a 2-2 series with them. Almost kind of lucky with them, and both wins were walk-off wins. And then you could almost make the case very easily the Yankees might have been swept in all 4 games, which would have been kind of disastrous there. But the Yankees did get the long ball going. Of course, they were early on in the series, both with Aaron Judge and Trent Grisham hitting 2 home runs in the game. And again, the Yankees had to settle for a split. Okay, you don't love that, but then the Royals come to town, and you got 3 well-pitched games by the Yankees. 1-2-3, Cam Schlittler just giving up 1 run, pitching into the 7th inning, and then back-to-backs, very dominating starts. And Cam Schlittler was dominating as well, don't get me wrong, by both Will Warren and Ryan Weathers. And, I know Cam Schlittler is still, he's the young gun. Everyone expects a lot out of him. But just to see 3 young guys, really, mid to early 20s in Warren, Weathers, and Schlittler going out there. Again, it's not Cole, it's not Rodon, it's Max Fried. It's the young guys making relatively no money at all, going out there and putting 3 consecutive very dominating starts in a row there. And the Yankees, of course, winning the Friday night opener against the Royals in a thrill there, because you got the Ryan McMahon. And actually, I went to that game with a late pinch hit. If anyone needed a home run, I mean, it was kind of a good story too. Just guys hitting 119, no home runs, and the fans are getting on him. I'm sure he's hearing it. He didn't even start the game. I meant going up against the right-hander Michael Wacha, but Boone's excuse was that because Wacha's kind of a 2-seam fastball stuff kind of goes away from left-handed hitters, so he actually wanted Rosario in there. So going up against the right-handed hitter, McMahon didn't even get the start in this game. Later on, comes out in the 8th inning as a pinch hitter there, a clutch pinch hit, 2-run home run, give the Yankees a 4-2 lead, and they hold on for that score there. And again, this good story for McMahon there. And you always say, well, is this going to help him take off? I don't know there, but if anyone in the world needed a home run at that point, it was Ryan McMahon, so glad he got it there. So after that, the Yankees have steamrolled the rest of the way, just absolutely blew the doors off the Royals in the next 2 games. And Will Warren, he liked to start, ties a career high with 11 strikeouts, and of course followed up by Ryan Weathers, he's had some good starts there. He's had some bad luck starts. I mean, you look at the one that you had previous against Oakland, only gave up 1 run, pitching into the 7th inning, but got bested by a 1-0 score. And then you look at this game as well, also throwing 7 1/3 inning shutout baseball, but luckily this time he had the offense behind him. The Yankees putting up 7 runs there, and Ryan Weathers finally able to earn his first win. Again, Weathers has been up and down a little bit. He's had a couple of bad starts as well. well. He got smacked around by his former team, the Marlins. But we also seen some really dominating stuff by Weathers, and this was definitely a dominating game. And he had the offense behind him right off the bat. The final game, a little bit of a rain delay slowed it down, but it really didn't matter for the Yankees. Put this one away early. He had Aaron Judge with what he always does, another first-inning home run, a 2-run home run to put the Yankees up. And then Rice and Judge are becoming like the new Ruth and Garrick. Both of them, just the way they've been teeing off. Rice also adding a home run. And, of course, the Yankees put it away in the 5th inning. Trent Grisham, who, again, fans a week ago were just complaining about. This guy stinks. He was hitting like a $120 himself, no home runs. Well, he's now up to 3 home runs, hitting a 3-run home run in the 5th inning to really put this game away. So I told you, again, the home runs were going to come. Just relax a little bit. Now you're starting to finally come through. Now, the only really one that's left off the last is Jazz. I mean, you really want to see him getting it going. But other than that, you've seen all the other guys really starting to go, with the long ball, which you figured was going to get the warmer weather in New York. You're back at Yankee Stadium. It was going to finally start clicking in, and you saw it click in this whole week. And again, the Yankees is going bonkers with the home runs. And just getting back to Rice and Judge, they're making a little bit of Yankee history. So right now they lead the majors as a duo with 17 total home runs between them. And they had a bit of a Yankee feat. They're the 3rd duo in Yankee history to have 8 or more home runs within the first 22 games in the season. And Judge did it previously with Anthony Rizzo. That was in 2022. You have it now with Aaron Judge and Ben Rice in 2026. And the first time was going way back to 1956 when Mr. Mickey Mantle and Yogi Berra both did that. Again, that was 1956, and of course with 56, that was the Triple Crown year for Mickey Mantle. So again, Rice, what he's doing right now is absolutely incredible. Right now, 2nd in the majors with a 1.243 OPS, so just crushing the ball right now. And I said this, if you want to go back to, it was 2 episodes on the YouTube channel there. We visited Yankee Stadium, kind of went around the horn there, just kind of get an update on the roster there, and I said, I was all for this letting Ben Rice take the next steps and just put him in there against lefties as well. Just let him get the whole, both face lefties and righties, and just see how he does there. And I know Paul Goldschmidt was a bit of the insurance policy. Yeah, you want a good right-handed bat off the bench there, and of course maybe against games where the left-handed starter, you start Paul Goldschmidt. But I was like, you know what? Get Ben Rice that starts first, and you always get someone like a Paul Goldschmidt later on, or call someone up like that, but give him the at-bats against lefty. Let him get the experience, and maybe he becomes like a Matsui or like a Cody Bellinger that could hit left-handed pitching. But he's not going to find out unless you throw him out there a little bit, and now he is hitting home runs against lefties. And I understand Aaron Boone kind of early on was holding him back, saying, well, you know what, he's crushing the ball. I like that weapon off the bench maybe late in the game. And yes, he did hit his first career home run coming off the bench. So yeah, I guess he could do that. But again, I just like the idea of just giving him like 90% of the starts at first base. I don't care whether it's against a righty, against a lefty. Just about the hottest hitter in baseball right now, crushing the ball, hitting home runs like nothing. So why would you even want to interfere with that and put that down? And Paul Goldschmidt, he's 38 years old. I'm sure he more than understands, and I'm sure if he understands Ben Rice is hitting good, the best thing for him is get as many starts and as bats as possible. And you give Ben Rice a breather here and there if you want to, but Ben Rice should be getting almost all the starts right now at first base. And getting back to the Yankees, some of the moves they made, didn't really get covered too much here on the audio podcast, but of course, sending down Jake Bird, and that was after one of the first game against the Angels where he gave up a 3-run home run against Mike Trout. Now, a couple of things in that game. Okay, I know Jake Bird hasn't been he sort of had a good spring, was impressive early on. Now, he got really, only twice he really got clobbered. One where he gave up 3 runs against that Sunday game against the Marlins where it prevented the Yankees from getting the sweep. The Yankees ended up blowing that lead. Okay, you're upset about him. And again, in the Angel game. Now, it's the game the Yankees won. It was the first game where they had the walk-off, the 11-10 win. But yes, he served a 3-run home run to Mike Trout. Maybe not happy about that. That's only really 2 games where he just kind of got killed. Other than that, he's been okay, and I just thought the Yankees really, I don't want to really beat around the bush, kind of covered this in the YouTube episode, but I thought they had a little bit of a quick trigger there that they sent it back down to AAA. Now, they could see things we can't, so maybe they're seeing something with his delivery or his arm angle, and it's just something why he's getting hit. They just wanted to work on things, okay, but other than that, it's a really quick hook there, and now you see that the Yankees are kind of a little bit, bounce around a little bit, trying to get someone to fill that role. At the time, they just brought Santos up just for one game, just to have an extra arm in the bullpen to cover that. They send him down and bring up Angel Civilli, who, again, the Yankees picked up one of the Cashman little scrap heap deals during the offseason. They brought him up there. Came from Colorado. Good fastball there, but of course, gets knocked around a lot. But, anytime you throw 99 and have breaking stuff that's also in the high 90s there, you're going to get a lot of attention. So, they have him up here as at the time being. Pitched a little bit in both the Angels and the Royals series, and gave up a home run to Trout as well. There seemed like everyone gave up a home run to Trout there, but right now he seems to be the quote-unquote Jake Bird guide until the Yankees decide when they want to stick with him or if he kind of melts down a little bit, and then they'll probably send him back to the minors. But nevertheless, looks like right now Seville got that quote-unquote Jake Bird job until further notice. But I mentioned the top Yankees make a little bit moves, but it's a minor league move, and just picking up Wilmy Sanchez from the Houston farm system. Just for this season, he pitched only in Double-A. So far in 5 games, pitching to a 1.29 ERA. Again, this is a guy I don't think you'll see considered to come up here anytime soon. Maybe down the road, or maybe next year, something like that. But just picking up a power arm. And, you want to look at his numbers overall in his minor league career. 105 total games, and this is going back to since 2022. Total 8-6 record, 3.80 ERA. It's not nothing tremendous there. But you can see what the Yankees like about him is his swing and miss stuff, and that's what Cashman's big on. And, of course, Boone is big on as well. They like the swing and miss guys. This guy seems to have it. So 189 in the third inning. The guy has 248 strikeouts. So this guy's averaging about, a little bit more than almost 2 strikeouts per inning. Also has some walks as well. 124 walks in 189 innings. That's okay. It's a little bit less than about a walk per inning. It's not terrible there, but you can see he has the swing and miss stuff, and only 22 years old. But of course, he's going to. Someone will probably report to Double or Triple A. I don't think the Yankees will consider him yet, though. I mean, obviously he's only 22 years old. And to get him, Yankees trading infielder Braden Shumaki, who you may remember back, it was that game, it was the ESPN televised spring training game between the Yankees and the Red Sox. He made a really good play there at shortstop. Yankees brought him up last season for a cup of coffee. That's when J.C. Escara went on a brief paternity leave. But other than that, I guess he was expendable, 28 years old. And again, no really room for him. What are you going to do with the guy there? So I guess they make the move for him, sending him to Houston. Again, the Yankees getting Sanchez in return. And moving forward there, that's kind of it for the Bronx and Yankee Stadium for the rest of April. The Yankees now go on the road for a really long road trip. Yankees not back in the Bronx, and that's not until May 1st, Friday night game against the Orioles. Other than that, the Yankees are going on a long road trip. 3 against Boston, then go over a weekend series in Houston, and then while in Texas, why not head over to play the Rangers? So if you looked at the schedule maybe a couple of months ago, you would probably been worried about the Boston and Houston series, but Boston's with heap of trouble they have right now, and of course Houston might be one of the rare times. And Yankees actually in recent seasons, even though maybe they've been struggling with Houston in the playoffs, and we don't know the long history, Yankees actually in Houston have been doing quite well during the regular season there. So hopefully the Yankees could tack on there. And again, the Red Sox try to kick them when they're down right now because they seem to have a lot of different issues going on with them. So hopefully the Yankees just catch them at the right time and just, beat them down as they can. And here we don't really want to gloat about what's going on with the Mets there, but of course I can't help myself because it's a New York story and it's all relevant with Soto and everything else and Stevie Cohen and it's kind of the back and forth there. But the Mets now have dropped 11 games in a row now. The majority, again, a lot of this was with Soto being on the IL, and he's due to be off probably within this week when the Mets return to Queens to host the Twins there. But for all the craziness, with the off season, and Mets fans have mixed results on it, but they make the move, they make the big signing to get Bo Bichette there, who's maybe hitting wise not great there, but defensively has been okay. But you make the big move with that, and you bring in Freddie Peralta, who's again overall been okay, but they kind of let Pete Alonso walk away, they let Brandon Nimmo walk away, they trade him for Simeon, who right now just looks like an absolute stiff. I mean, look at Brandon Nimmo right now, what he's doing with Texas, and Yankees will see him when they do visit the Rangers in a couple of weeks, hitting well over 300 with a couple of home runs, had like a game-winning home run. Pete Alonso hasn't been fantastic there, but a lot of these guys that they shipped out and sent away, and with this team they got right now, not looking good at all. I mean, the starting rotations in complete shambles right now. Lindor's been this kind of wacky, just in the field there. It seems like he doesn't know how many outs there are and is making bad plays. And then, again, you got Marcus Simeon right now is just like a total stiff there. So never want to glee, never want to gloat. And Mets have also had a bit of a merry-go-round there at first base. Trying to get someone to kind of fill Alonso's shoes there. And Beatty's has kind of not been great there. And it can also making some bad plays. The whole idea with the Mets was that they're going to be a better defensive team. That's why they kind of let Pete Alonso walk. And that's why they brought in someone like Simeon. Well, it hasn't exactly panned out there. And again, the Mets right now in a lowly 11-game losing streak. And it's not really about making fun of the Mets and poking fun of the Mets, but it's just sort of like for the Yankee fans that complain if they just have 1 or 2 bad games and people get rid of Cashman, get rid of Boone. They don't know what they're doing. It's the same thing every day. It's like there are teams right out there that have really bad problems, like real serious problems there. So, if the Yankees have like 3 or 4 bad games, like calm down a little bit. Like this, you take what the Yankees got right now, and then really hitting their stride yet. And you're gonna get Cole back at some point. You're gonna get Rodon back at some point. And again, a lot of these guys that still have a lot to, gonna be hitting even more. I mean, I know Judge's got the home runs there, but batting average wise, and Stanton's gonna tee off on some home runs, and finally someone like Jazz will probably get his bat heated up there. So again, if you're a Yankee or a Yankee fan, you have a lot to look forward there. So don't complain if you have a couple of, even a bad week. Just like relax a little bit. It's a long season. Catch you next time.